Hello, this is Sirrano. This is the night of the election, and the results are in. So, before I started doing this video, my wife said to me, "You don't need to do a video right now. You're too emotionally shaken up." And I said, "You know what? I've been to this rodeo before. I've been to this rodeo. I've tackled these clowns, and I'm not, emotional. I've been here before, and when you're here before and you pinch that person, you're numb because you've been here before, So, first, before I say anything, I would like to thank Jesus Christ. I would, for giving me the opportunity to yet again, in a new city, expose corruption. The battle that Jesus fought was not for him to win. It was for him to expose and bring truth to the lies. So I would like to thank him for the opportunity. I had an old pastor, and he used to tell me, the guy that baptized me when I was 23 years old, which is not far away. And he said to me, whenever he was preaching a message, and he said, if you're going through a trial, rejoice in the Lord. Your spouse left you, rejoice in the Lord. You can't pay your bills, rejoice in the Lord. Somebody suing you, rejoice in the Lord. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. And I recall that to myself. If you're going through something, just rejoice in the Lord. So I tried to reach into the answer in this election, and I came up with a couple of scenarios. But before I do that, I was going to pick up some of my signs in the area, and I told my wife, "Can you go with me? I didn't want to be alone out there, because God forbid I get into an accident and I die. They're going to say, hey, you committed suicide." And she said to me, "You would never commit suicide, never." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You are a fighter, and they can take everything away from you, and you can be on the street. You'll sleep on a bench, but you will never commit suicide. It's not who you are. You're a fighter." So I guess that's a compliment. And, so that's that. After Jesus Christ and my wife for tolerating all of this, who could have been the first lady of District 10, I want to thank you guys. You made it possible for me to see success when I fight for people. I've had my name distorted, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but I just really, really, really want to thank you. Thank you so much for coming out for me. When there was a battle with Gideon, it was an army of 100,000 against only 300 that God gave him. And that battle was for the Lord. And you guys are almost 600. And he's got his base. His base will always be over 5,000 something. That's it. That's all he got. But to go from 191 people to almost 600 people with only not spending $940, I think that's remarkable, and that's something to be positive about. I really wish I would have got like 1,000, 2,000 something, but when I pull back and I look at Gideon's fight that God gave him, I think you guys came out, and I think you wanted change, but there are people who are stuck in their old ways, stuck because of the culture, the color of their skin. That's how they vote. You can't change that. This is Dallas. This is the South. That's what they want. It's since 1841. We've never had a minority in District 10. And will I run again? They say the third time is a charm. But I made some mistakes. First mistake. Well, let's go back to this. I don't want to make you feel that your vote went in vain. I don't want to ever make you think that. And I really want to make sure you understand how much I appreciate you going to the polls and standing there and having to give your ID and taking that card and putting it in that machine and seeing the two names and saying, "I want Sirrano." I really appreciate that. Don't ever think that you voted in vain. Ever, ever, ever. It takes a lot to drive out. It takes a lot to get out of your car and go through that process and then leave hoping good will come from it. But I promise you, all of you who voted for me, good will come from this. I revert back to Jesus Christ. They arrested him. They charged him. They put him in jail. Can you imagine the entire Jerusalem thinking, this guy is a criminal? He's arrested. He's put in jail. For what? For speaking up. When Adam Magoo, this Islamic guy from New Jersey who I've been battling for years, said this thing to Adam Magoo, he never as a lawyer said, look, this is guys in my, I may be running, this would have given him so much credit with me. This would have made me say, you know what, I want to sit with this guy because he got this thing that's defamatory, and instead of publishing it, he called me. And he would have gotten my respect, but he didn't. He used it for evil and for wickedness and to get power and greed. And I have no respect for a man like that. And he aided Islam in targeting me. You know, I forgive people for a lot of stuff, but I will never forgive them for going after a Christian, especially if the Christian is me and I'm fighting for good. So know this. I will never forget what you've done. I know I've not met you personally, and I hope to, because we're going to go forward with this. We may not need him. I don't need him. We never needed the government to get together and organized and put out, and here's some of the things that I want to go into. So come with me. Let's continue this fight. Let's do something and make sure you know that now that we're all gathered, we are gathered together, almost 600 of us who really mean something, who really wanted the truth, okay? Despite how they tried to distort my name, like they distorted Jesus Christ, calling him a liar and a criminal and a deceiver and arresting him, you know that they sent a warrant here from me and I didn't even know anything about it. When I saw it, I said, when Magoo published it, I said, what the hell is this? I don't know, excuse my language. Where did this come from? Turns out that this private detective that was hired by Dallas government to target me, I said a lot of things about him online for 2 years. He never said anything. But close to my election, you filed this and you didn't send it to me. And so now it turned from a show up to a warrant. And here's what it is. Here's what it is. I spoke. And somebody told me, if your wife is being investigated, maybe his wife should be investigated too. That's it. That's what they want to put me in jail for. Well, not put me in jail. I mean, when you don't show up, it's automatic. It goes to a warrant. It doesn't matter what it's for. But nobody asked, what exactly is this about, Adam Magoo? What is it about? You're a lawyer. You never called the guy and asked him if he needed help. You just use it to trash him and destroy his character. Following him around, taking pictures from your campaign person so you can discredit him and say he's carrying a weapon, he's dangerous, which is really, really rotten. Rotten from him to do something like that. What I really wanted to do, to show you guys, and the people who even voted for him, is let's talk about this. Let's talk about the budget. Can we talk about the budget? Can we talk about the fact he doesn't want to talk about the budget because he doesn't know how to deal with the budget? Because he said at a public meeting to the city manager, I don't know how to read the budget. I don't understand it. So that's why he doesn't want to debate me, because I want to ask him questions about this budget. And this is just a cheat sheet. And I guarantee if I open up this cheat sheet, and I ask Adam Magoo a couple of questions here, he would not be able to answer it. For instance, if I ask him about how much does it cost to maintain infrastructure, he wouldn't know what that is. And he's on the city council and he's supposed to read every page. So that's what they did. The guy who sent this information to Adam Magoo that really damaged to me is this guy right here. This Islamic guy. He's now the mayor of Patterson. I blocked him twice with my newspaper. Okay? This is him. He brought, he said he was a Christian. He said he was a Christian, just like Adam Magoo saying that he's a Christian. And as soon as he got to be mayor, he brought two of these Islamic men in the God's, Jesus' church to bless his mayorship. And here he is. He has a religious symbol in a public square, a religious symbol in a public building. He anointed a chief of police Islamic, chief of judge Islamic, chief lawyer Islamic. And he's constantly promoting Islamic people. This is what I exposed about this guy pretending to be a Christian, that he's a liar. And so he's been targeting me. He's been hiring people. And the whole process is he hired this PI, targeted my wife, and I couldn't even defend her. I'm not allowed to defend my own wife. And I got a warrant because they didn't tell me there was a date available for me. And they never sent me a copy of it. They held it. They waited till the election came along and they sent it out. And I'm like, They were holding this. If you look at the date of it, they were holding this for a month and a half. They knew my address. He eventually sent it to my address. So they were trying to destroy me, this Islamic guy. And now Islam is in my life in Dallas, and I have to deal with that. One of the other things I want to move on to is my program for kids. So that when I was on the campaign trail, I used this a lot to talk to people about the things that I want to do. I said, look, I want a local office. If you need rental assistant, mortgage assistant, if you need food and grocery assistant, if you need utility assistant, if you need any kind of assistant that you need, I can have that available from the government for you. That was my sell. But the most sell was these kids. This is me teaching 50 kids about life, having a goal, having a plan, time management, equal success. This is my other group of kids that I teach. And I teach them about don't be a wage worker, be an entrepreneur. When I walk them through a whole process. This is my Christian kids. I go to the community. I give them all the same T-shirts. It says, I am a Christian. And all of them know that by the T-shirt they wear. And we pray for them. We help them. We take them into the community, into businesses. We have them clean up businesses. We bring mentors before them. This is mayors and businesses and council members. And then we do community events to celebrate. We have people that come out and sing from the churches and stuff like that. So this woman met me and says, oh, Adam Magoo he's such a nice guy. He's a sweet guy. He's a good Christian. I dealt with this clown, with this rodeo before. I've been on this ride. I know this clown. And I know that just as I exposed this guy, I got to do the same thing with Adam Magoo. I did not, and I said the same thing in a deposition where I sued them, and they said it's because of my Christian faith, and exactly what I just said is why they don't like me, the government. And then it's because of the me opposing the Islamic Jihad that is killing Christians, that this character was at this very meeting defending the jihad. At this very meeting. So I kept that photo. And I have the video. If you want to go get the name of the mayor of Patterson, New Jersey, at Drew Sayer plus Jihad online, and you'll see it for yourself. So these are things that I want to do. So I just want to let you know we are not going to give up. We're going to follow Jesus Christ. We're going to be the true Christians. We're going to be the true voice of Christ. Just remember, after they prosecuted Jesus for speaking up, they want to prosecute me, and they got rid of him. Eventually, they got rid of him, like they want to get rid of me for speaking up against him. They hunted his disciples. They hunted them down as animals. And but eventually, it took 1,600 years to finally get a Bible printed. Did you know that? So we're not going to wait 1,600 years. We're going to act now. So just remember, I don't want your votes to go in vain. I don't want you to think that you voted and then that's it. He won and we're going to go away. No, this is how the revolution starts. This is how the kingdom of Christ started. They were hidden and they were in back rooms and in wherever they were hiding, continuing to preach the gospel and getting arrested and getting beaten up and speaking against the elites. So this is where we're going to go. We have actually started something, and I want this to be a movement. I don't want to ever make you think that you went into that booth, you voted for me, and then, you don't know what to go from here. The reason I'm doing this video is because I remember the night that Hillary Clinton lost, and she sent everybody home sad. We're not sad. We are fighters. I'm a fighter, and you voted for me. Guess what? That makes you a fighter. I'm not the liar, soft-spoken, manipulative one that says, oh, I try to help this guy, I want to sit in a restaurant with him, all that kind of nonsense. And I'm not a manipulator. I'm not going to manipulate you. I'm going to tell you the truth. I fight for others. It may cost me everything, and it have cost me everything, but I fight for others. That's what Christ did. That's what I do. You ought to know who the true Christian is here. I went up against Islam, radical Islam, and I am paying a high price for it. And now he's feeding Magoo stuff to go after me, to destroy my candidacy. But I'm good. I'm good with that, knowing that it was because of Jesus Christ, that because I have opposed a foreign god over my people that's lying and manipulating them, that this is happening. And the disciples were beaten, and they came out, and it says, I count it joy to suffer for the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Adam Magoo will never know what it's like to suffer for Christ. He will never know what it's like to be have everything stripped from you and targeted. You targeted in any which way they could, just because you spoke up to defend Christ and defend his ministry and to oppose what the Bible says, thou shalt have no other God before me. This guy is having another two gods in the church, blessing him and pretending to be a Christian. Adam Magoo has the same kind of deceitful behavior. And just as God said, see, I have no idea why I ended up in Patterson, New Jersey. Maybe God saw this was going to happen to his kingdom, and I went. And I have no idea how I ended up here in District 10. Maybe God saw the manipulation of his kingdom. But I think what God wanted to say is this: look, I'm not going to give you the seat. Okay? I want you to fight the person sitting in the seat. Well, how does that help you? You bring them to justice. Remember what I said. And when I come, if I had not come, you would have still had sin. But now that I'm come, you have no cloak for your sin. And that is why I'm placed in these places, to show you this is not for me. I will not benefit here. I have nothing that I want in this world except maybe like a Ferrari or something, just because that's my ideal something, if I ever want to be blessed with something. But know this, guys, I want to thank Jesus Christ. He's the one. I want to thank my wife. She put up with a lot. And I want to thank you guys, because was it not for you, I wouldn't have run. If we could just isolate this part of the city and I could represent you, I would do that. But it doesn't work that way. So let's get together. Let's do the kids thing. If you want to contact me and you want to be part of my ministry, I wouldn't say ministry, but part of my organization called Christian Heritage US, part of my other organization called Sirrano's Millionaires for the Kids. I still think I can get recreation money to bypassing this clown through the mayor. Maybe we can speak to the mayor, and we can do something with our organization and get into the community. Let the kids see that they can do a lot. Take them off the streets, get them into a building, technical training, computer training, something to keep them occupied. But we can do this. But like I said, in this election, we never discussed the budget. We never discussed the crime problem because he has nothing on that. We never discussed the investment outside Lake Highlands because he's got nothing on that. So the reason that Adam Magoo avoided a debate with me is because he has no record to run on. So what does he do? Get involved with his Islamic buddy over there in New Jersey and give us something. Hold it back. They didn't send this to me. They sent it to him. Go figure, right? And, let's just do something with what we have. I'm proud of myself. I should be. Went from $191 to almost $600 with $940. This other guy, I think he's got up to $75,000. For $75,000, you got the same people. You got the same people. $940, I tripled my numbers. So that's something to be proud of. Okay? So again, thank you. The Lord thanks you. My wife thanks you, for doing and taking a chance to trust me and invest in me. But I am ignited now. I am going to continue a fight. I didn't feel like fighting before. It's been 3 years, 2 years, but now I feel like fighting because of the corruption, because of how they corrupted this election. That triggers me. So we're going to continue this. Thanks for watching. If you want to join my organization, please do contact me, Facebook, whatever you can, and we'll get together. We'll start having public meetings, and we'll start doing events and activities for the kids and for Christian Heritage and a historic part, and we can take this from here. Now we just got to wait another 2 years for this guy to see how much damage this guy can do, and if I run again, maybe I can clean it up. Okay? Thanks for watching, and bye for now.